Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Heart of the Author. I want to share a little bit about the vision for Heart of the Author and why I decided to create this space. But first, I want to make sure I introduce myself so everyone knows who I am. I know a lot of people are tuning in today for one or a couple of our heartists, is what we're calling them. But I am the founder of FemPower Publications. I am an best-selling author, a book publisher. People have called me many other things. I am the book doula. I am a voice alchemist. I am a trauma-informed publisher. I'm a philanthropist. I have a lot of titles and a lot of hats that I wear, but it all stems to the same why, and that is to help women share their voice authentically and powerfully with the world. We turn manuscripts into movements. We help women really amplify their truth and their knowing, their wisdom, their art, their heart. And it's been the goal since day one. So my story, to go back a little ways, I grew up in a foster heavy household as the only biological child and experienced a lot of what is now only been given a title called vicarious trauma. And then I escaped and had a 20-year career in the fashion industry, which came with a lot of other traumas and things. And that really was the catalyst for me wanting to help people, wanting to share my story in a way that felt safe, in a way that my voice was heard and not dampened and not drowned out. And as women, so many of us experience this feeling of going unheard, of going unlistened to, and that was unacceptable for me. So I knew I was going to be an author. I knew I was going to share my story with the world. So I did so the first time through a traditional publisher, and I won't name any names here because that's not what this is about. And what happened during that process, yes, I was a published author. I thought I'd made it. I thought that was the deal. I thought that was everything it was supposed to be. And I found myself losing myself again, my voice again. My intellectual property was owned by somebody else. My voice was being tinkered with and told what I was supposed to say and how I was supposed to come across. And that missed the bill for me. That wasn't what it was all about. Sure, I was a published author, but all of a sudden here I was again trying to do the opposite of what was being done. So I published that book, and 2 years and about $80,000 later, I earned the intellectual property rights back to that project. And that's when I self-published my book again. That was a lonely process. I found through self-publishing. I felt very alone. I didn't know how to do all the things, how to market a book, how to create a movement, how to build anything. So I felt like I was standing alone on stranded on an island all by myself. And that also missed the bill for me. So I said, you know what? I heard my grade 4 teacher in my head, and I said, if it doesn't exist, create it. So I did. I trademarked a new modality of publishing called blended publishing. And it's really a blend of the best of all the world. So for anyone who has ever had experience in publishing, who's ever tried to publish a book, who's ever tried to publish an article or share their story or share their voice with the world and has felt like they've been silenced, that's why I created this movement. That's why I created this space. I wanted, of course, for that never to happen to anyone again on the history of the planet, for them to feel like their voice was taken from them, their words were taken, their art was taken from them. And I wanted to amplify the voices of women because I believe we all have a story. I believe we all have a movement inside of us that can change the world. And it starts with one person. It's a ripple. You drop a tiny little drop into the ocean and it ripples out and ripples out and ripples out. That's what this is. So my vision for Heart of the Author and my vision for today is to really amplify those voices. So all of the heartists that you're going to meet today are FemPower authors that are going to be published this fall. So we have 9 activations today: poetry, meditations, card pulls, readings of their memoirs, readings of their heart, of their art. And that was always the vision. It was to really amplify the voices of people who have felt silenced, of people who have felt like they couldn't share their story in the way that it was meant to be shared. And that's what we're going to do today. So I wanted to share just a little, that's my very, very broad introduction, but I also wanted to share just a little bit of the work that I do outside of the publishing world, which is, it's called Voice Alchemy. And it really is a trauma-informed version of publishing, of writing, of sharing your voice and your art and your heart with the world. So it actually is an acronym. So V stands for vision. And maybe you're listening to this going, well, I'm not here to write a book. I don't want to write a book. I just want to hear people's art. But I think it's important to also know where these artists are coming from and understand. So this is for you today if you've ever felt like your voice has been silenced. This is for you if you've ever felt that nudge to share your story with the world. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the form of a book. Maybe it's social media is your journal. Maybe it's through published articles. Maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's, however you share your voice with the world. And if you're not sharing your voice with the world, I encourage you to ask why. Maybe there is something there that has been silenced and it is a wound or a trauma that has blocked you from even the desire to put your voice out into the world. And that's where this voice acronym comes from. So V stands for vision, and it really is to see beyond the illusions and really look into the soul. What is the vision for your voice? Where could it take you? Who could you help with your voice? And I don't mean the sound of your voice talking. I mean the real voice, the real story that wants to come out of you. I is for identity. And it really is around releasing the masks and stepping fully into who you are. We hear so much about authenticity and showing up as your true self. And I think a lot of that is so intertwined with identity and who we think we should be. Well, I can't tell that story because what if? And the worry and the concern around really showing up fully, I think it's ingrained into our identity. We're so afraid of people hearing us, the true us. We're afraid of judgment. We're afraid of imposter syndrome. Well, what if, somebody is saying this and I disagree? Who am I to say this? What if I don't have the education or the background that, I should to speak up about this topic? So a lot of our voice is dampened by identity. O is for, and I know I'm going a little bit backwards. Okay, V is vision. O, spell it properly, is for opus. It is our body of work. So the offering that you give the world. Opus is actually a word, and I love it because it works with the acronym, but it stands for your body of work, all of the pieces that you have. So many of us think we can't be an expert in something or we can't speak up about a topic because we know so much about something else. Maybe you studied one thing in university or you studied something else or you have a certification in this, but you really have this passion and this desire to speak on a different thing. It's okay to have a well-rounded body of work. It's okay to wear multiple identities and to really have that embody the full version of who you are. So that's V, O, I, identity. C is connection. So our story goes so far beyond our story. And I think we often sit in this main character mentality where, we are the main character in our story. We are the hero in the hero's journey or the heroine. And we think that that's it. It doesn't affect other people. Our story doesn't affect other people unless they're judging it, unless it's the fear around it. But there's such a powerful connection piece. When we share our truth, we give permission to other people to share their truth, and it connects us. It's like a web where we are connected on so many levels. So just by releasing your story, just by sharing it with the world, you connect with other people on such a deep level. And of course, publishing a book, having a podcast, the wider the range your voice is released into the world, the more people you connect with. But is that even necessary? One person hearing your story, you could change their life. And then they can retell your story, and that could change somebody else's life. And it really just ripples on. I hear people all the time, my clients say, well, I only have 10,000 followers on Instagram. I want to have 100,000, or this publisher won't even look at me until I have 100,000 followers because, the marketing piece. Imagine standing in a room with 10,000 people, or 100 people for that matter. If you have 100 followers on Instagram, imagine standing in a room with 100 people and sharing your story, how much of an impact your voice could make. So I think we get caught up in these vanity metrics of social media and, podcast downloads and all these numbers. But ultimately, if your voice can support one person, if your voice can help one person, isn't that worth it? Isn't that worth sharing your story? And then the E in voice is energetics. So we all have a unique frequency, a signature here on this planet. And that comes from our truth. That comes from all of our pieces that get weaved together, our identities that get placed together through, we were one person in childhood, and then we shed that skin through adolescence, and then we grew into the woman that we are today. And all of those identities come with different job titles, different personal experiences, different traumas, different wounds, different things. And it's all about the lessons and how we build it into our unique signature. And that's the energetics behind telling your story. So I wanted to just share that briefly today in this opening ceremony of the day, just to sort of give you a background on where this is all coming from. This is the why. This is the root. If you look at these stories that you'll hear today as roots of a tree. So the roots are the lived experience. The roots are the knowledge, the wisdom, everything that it's taken these powerful artists to embody who they are, the trunk of the tree. So you see the roots is everything that they've spent their whole life. Some of these artists are younger, some are, older. We have a wide range of age and backgrounds and stories, and even the art that they're bringing to the world. We have poets, we have spiritual leaders, we have all kinds of incredible people today. And that is the roots of the tree. The trunk is their body of work, their opus. That is really what they're bringing to the table today. They're sharing their art with you. They're sharing their heart with you. And that's really powerful. And then the branches and the flowers, that's what you take from it. You get to pick the beautiful fruit. You get to smell the beautiful flowers. You get to enjoy it and let that spread and share and grow and bloom and blossom. So that's what today is. It's really about sharing these beautiful humans with the world, the way I get to see them, the way I get to experience them as their publisher, as their trauma-informed artist, leader, whatever you want to call me, voice alchemist, book doula, I'll take all the titles, but ultimately the purpose of today is to share their art and their hearts with you. So the best way to maximize this space, I'm going to figure out the tech side. I don't think I'm streaming into Facebook right now, but the goal is to have them all stream into Facebook. We're going to also upload each of these sessions into the Facebook group, into the guide section. And then also you'll receive, if you're registered, which I'm assuming you are, if you have this link, you will receive the video replays there as well. We'll also have a portal in Kajabi, which is the website platform that I use. There'll be somewhere there where you can watch the replays as well. And then we're going to have giveaways. We're going to have fun prizes. I understand it's a lot. It's a full day with back-to-back sessions. I'm sure people have lives and kids and work and things to do. So you're not expected to just sort of be here hanging out with us all day long, but there's different activations. So looking at the schedule, really seeing, what speaks to you. Maybe somebody personally invited you today. So making sure you're keeping up with the schedule on those, but know that every single session will be recorded and there will be replays, and we will figure out how to stream into the Facebook group. And it's going to be a really powerful and wonderful day. I recommend bringing a notebook and, writing down ideas as they come to you. If you're live on these sessions, you'll have access to Q&A with the authors. So that'll be really powerful too, to ask questions about their upcoming book or the activation that they're providing today. A lot of them will also be sharing with you ways that you can work with them, ways that you can, be in closer proximity. So I'm super excited for today. Does anybody that's here with me live have a question for me on maximizing this experience, on, on the voice acronym, on publishing, anything at all? I'm here for questions. If not, we will be back in 10 minutes with Diane Cole, who is our first artist of the day, and she will be sharing a piece of her upcoming book called Heartbundance, and really speaking to trauma-informed manifestation. All right, there's no questions. I will. Oh, thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you. Thank you for being here with me live at this, I don't know what time it is where you are, but it's 9:20 a.m. here. So it's a very exciting day, and I'm happy to kick it off. So thank you for being here with me live. We'll see you back in 10 minutes if you're tuning in for Diane. It'll also be in the Facebook group if you choose to just sort of watch it there on the go. That is also okay. We have Jacqueline Shaw at 11, and then Krista Lee Beeler doing a poetry healing at 12, and then the rest of the schedule will continue to be posted and you'll receive emails right before. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you. And I will see you soon.